Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we have an update on the minimal phone. This device is not perfect, let me start by saying that, but I think it's amazing if you want to eliminate distraction and still retain certain apps. Here are the frequently asked questions. I have done this before, but every video I try to keep them. As you know, this is more of a smartphone, quote unquote. And that I say because it does have what I call, or what I've been saying to my coworkers and everybody that asks me about this device, it has a boring screen. So as you see, this is the digital well-being app over the last few weeks. And, 35 minutes, 11 minutes, 17 minutes, 28 minutes. That was pretty much last week. The week before that, maximum of 44 minutes. The week before that, maximum of an hour and 48. That was a pretty busy day. And the next Saturday as well, an hour and 34. I was traveling and doing a lot of stuff, in different areas of here in Colorado. But this week, as you see, it's quite low. 6 minutes today. I'm using it right now. An hour and 9 minutes yesterday. I had to go to the office, do a lot of work back and forth. But the day before that, 14 minutes. And on Sunday, less than 1 minute. And that's essentially a day that I just spent outside hanging out with friends. So I didn't have a lot to check in with work. Sometimes I work on the weekends and sometimes I don't. But as I said, this is a boring screen. It is an e-ink screen. And what it does is essentially it adds friction to anything that you want to do. So let's say that you want to watch a video, and like you want to read something on the internet. Let's go to YouTube. And essentially it does load, whatever it is that you want to load. Let me put this so that I don't get any copyright strikes. But if you want to watch a video, essentially right there, some Gary's Economics, it's going to look like that. And it's not the best experience. It's not something that you want to do on an everyday basis, but it's something that you can do if you must. So if you need to watch a video for work, if you need to get something in specific, then you have some of that. I'm not signed in, so there's probably a bunch of other garbage videos out here, just getting on the algorithm. So what I like about this device is that you can still access, a lot of the stuff that you care about. So for example, here is Slack. Then you have definitely WhatsApp. So if you want to access, something for your friends or family, here, let me just go to something that is not super sensitive. So here's WhatsApp, the main WhatsApp app texting me about features and, that kind of stuff. So as you see, I can type, I can, essentially go into the app and navigate. The difference is that when you're scrolling, when you're going around, there's these refreshes because of the e-ink screen, but you still have access to the necessary apps that you need on your life. Another one that is pretty big for me is transit. So, I want to get on transit. I want to figure out, hey, when is the next bus coming? Hey, you have that ability to have it because this device has pretty much all the bells and whistles of a smart device, of a smartphone, but because of its boring screen, then you have a better experience. Same thing with Gmail, same thing with Maps. For example, another app that I do love having just kind of on the pocket is Libby, which is a audiobooks here in the United States. You can get them for free through the library. And there it is. It works, it loads. You're able to, go around, bookmark, do everything that you need to do, but still with that, little bit of artifact, yes, but it's the e-ink system. What again, I'm calling a boring screen. The device has been working for somebody who doesn't need to use it as much. For me, it's for work. So I'm checking in, I'm texting, I'm doing whatever. And I do have a few other utilities there, and apps that I may want to check here and there. So essentially, it's a good phone that allows you to do anything that a smartphone does, but it does have this, again, inherent deterrent. So another one here, Discord. I know many of you ask me like, hey, what can you use Discord? Okay, here it is. You can use Discord. You can go into the dumb phones Discord or the light phone Discord and have a discussion with people, right? So it's a good concept. And hello from the minimal phone. And the best part for me, I think it's also the keyboard is pretty good. And this is a test. boom, right there. And you're able to send or you're able to have the conversation that you need to have, get in, get back with your life. You are not being essentially, tricked with all the colors and the reels and going back and forth. If you need the information, you're going to be able to get it. But after that, you get back to your life. One of the big advantages of this device, for those of you who need it, and again, I'm thinking of this as a work device, not necessarily as a personal device. I have my own personal device on the Light Phone 3. And for a work device, then you can access the Play Store, right? So if you need to have the Play Store, if you need to install certain apps for whatever it is, then you're going to have that ability. You're going to have this, ability to create something that is easier. As you saw right there, I got a text from my wife. She sometimes texts my work phone because it's easier since I can connect this to the Messages desktop platform, right? So whenever I'm on the desktop, I'm able to kind of fire back and forth. And one of the advantages as well is that this has RCS, depending on your carrier. So here is my wife, we're texting and it needs to be in Spanish. Yes, I will translate it. Yes, I will translate it. And as you see right there, it has the bubbles of RCS that says, okay, this got delivered, this got read, and this kind of stuff, right? And whatever it is that, you're kind of like looking into. So I think this device is an excellent device for work purposes because you're still able to retain pretty much all of the functionality of a smartphone, but it has the inherent friction in the e-ink screen. It's not the fastest refresh rate. It does get the job done, but it's not, super fast at doing everything. But you're able to retain that smart functionality. You can also use it as a secondary device. So again, I think that for me personally, it works because I'm able to retain some of the smart things that I love, bring them with me, and have whatever it is that I need. And then I go back to my personal device once I'm out of work. So I'm out of work at 5, 6, whatever time it is. And then I just switch back to my light phone. Or if I'm doing some work earlier, or I'm not doing work earlier, I just take my light phone with me on a walk, my routine or whatever. So I think it's a great supplementary device or a work device because it allows you to focus on the things that you need to focus, have some of the kind of like discussions that you need to have with work, with like, all of these different things. But it also deters you because of the mobile experience. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope that you have questions and I'll be interacting with those in, the comments. And I hope that you at least check out this device because I think it's a good contender for what we're talking about. Minimization of distraction, but still retaining some smart features with, kind of like whatever it is that you need in your life. Hope this helps. And, I'll be bringing some other updates of other dumb phones and some new dumb phones that may be coming out soon. I'm really excited about one of them. And I probably will be getting it next week or so, or, maybe 2 weeks. And then we're going to start testing and showcasing other possibilities with other devices that help with the friction. I hope this was helpful and I'll see you next time.